Welcome, everybody, to the Staying Stress-Free During the Holiday Season webinar. I'm your host, Sherry Branson. I'm now joined by Kevin Davis, the president of Kevin Davis Insurance. Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, Sherry, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Doing well. And Kevin, I'm here in Los Angeles, just in another
Yeah,
room down the hall.
you in the other room.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, we're in the same time zone for a change, which is nice.
Yes, and the weather's nice here too, isn't it?
Beautiful weather. Yeah. Yeah. I'll take this weather any day. It's gorgeous out. And Kevin, we have a very special webinar for everybody today. It's about staying stress-free during the holiday season, which I know I can use tips on that. And I'm sure everybody joining us today is anxious to hear about how they can kind of reduce their stress levels and still get everything done and, not feel overwhelmed by the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, that's right. When we talk about our goal for the day, what we want to do is talk about why you really feel stressed during the holiday season and provide mindfulness tools to learn how to manage these stressful situations and enjoy the holiday. We'll talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that we've been talking about, every like the second one. We did the program earlier in the year and we talked about it. And now we're going to use it to enjoy the holiday more. Because right now we all know that life is getting more and more complicated and stressful each and every year. So it's really important to learn how to manage your stress, especially during the holidays. It is really, really important.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much pressure to try to plan the perfect holiday dinner, make it home in time to see your family, say yes to all the holiday parties, meet those year-end deadlines. I mean, there's so much going on all at the same time. So it definitely can be a cause of a lot of stress during this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. And you get this new data out there that was released by something called Virgin Pulse. It says 70% of employees are significantly more stressed during the holiday. The survey showed that a large number of people admit to using a large portion of their workday to finish their holiday errands, like shopping and running around, or just having conversations about what they're going to do with their family and friends. And what that
Ab-
causes is that stress. You feel stress. You feel isolated. You feel alone. You begin to disengage from everybody, not only your friends and family, but others. You begin to feel bored, unmotivated, disengaged, confused about what to buy, who to buy it for, or why buy anything at all.
Absolutely. It seems like we forget how to experience joy and happiness during the holiday season. We just get overwhelmed.
And that's it. That's what we're going to talk about today. Because things like joy, generosity, and compassion, things that we really are important to us, have been replaced by guilt, anxiety, and fear.
Absolutely. And Kevin, like you said, we're going to talk about mindfulness today. So can you explain to everybody joining us, what exactly is mindfulness?
Sure. Mindfulness is something I've been using for about 10 years. And what it does is makes me more peaceful, be more joyful and more satisfied. So when we talk about mindfulness is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment.
Okay. So Kevin, what we're talking about is just being aware by paying attention, correct?
That's correct. Because most of the time we don't pay attention. Okay, we just don't. We go into autopilot. And as soon as we wake up in the morning, boom, we're on autopilot. We drive to work, answer emails, return phone calls. Most of the day, many of us stay on autopilot because most of the work that we're doing today doesn't take a lot of focus nor a lot of attention.
Absolutely. I mean, becomes a much bigger problem during the holidays because we're repeating the same mistakes year after year. We didn't like the holiday dinner. We may not have bought the perfect gift for that person last year, or we forgot to buy a gift for somebody. The gifts were not appreciated, etc. And we spent too much money. We went way over budget, which is a big problem.
Exactly. Every year you hear the same thing. I can't believe we spent so much money. And the reason why that happens is because we develop these routines, our life routines. And these are habits that we've developed over years and years and years of habits of trying to get things done the quick and easy way. And the reason why that happens is because our brain designs that so we can save energy. Our brain takes a lot of energy to operate, so it looks for shortcuts. So when I set myself up automatic pilot, what I'm basically doing is saving brain power. That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, why is that a problem? Why is, am I on autopilot is a problem? So, Sherry, what do you think happens when your brain goes on autopilot?
Oh, well, basically, your mind probably well, your mind is just basically going through the motions. You're just
Exactly.
you're not thinking about what you're doing. You're just doing it out of habit.
Yeah. And what happens is your body is in the present moment all the time. But your brain is either trying to solve some problem, either from the past, which creates depression, or the future, which creates anxiety. Either
Hmm.
going back and forth.
Hmm. Yeah, basically, our brains can time travel. So, wondering how much holiday shopping can you actually get done when your mind is going back and forth, and stressed out.
Yeah. And worrying about, did you pick the right gift? Our brains are doing that. But in the meantime, our body is being present. See, only by being present, when we're fully connected, can things get done effectively. This means you become more
Hmm.
engaged, aware of what needs to be done, and you make better decisions. What
Hmm.
mindfulness does is give you an option to approach challenges with clarity and focus.
Hmm. And a perfect example of that, Kevin, is when you're trying to find the perfect gift for that special someone. I was trying to find a gift a few years ago for my husband. I was thinking a few months in advance, what would he really like? What does he really want? What would he be excited about? And, the more I thought about it, the more I focused on it, the better gift that I bought. And it turned out to be a more enjoyable experience.
Exactly. That's what mindfulness does. It focuses our attention so that we can connect directly to what is happening right now. Without it, we continue to look through the world filtered like a distorted lens, kind of. We see all the biases, the habits, and all the wishful thinking. Mindfulness allows us to see things as they are, not as we want them to be. It trains our mind to be calmer, happier, and more peaceful.
Hmm. Now, Kevin, for everybody joining us today, the people who may have not tried mindfulness or heard of mindfulness before, can you explain how does it work?
Okay, now, when we talk about mindfulness itself, there are two main ways to practice mindfulness. There's an informal practice and a formal practice, formal and informal. A formal practice is called meditation. It requires a few minutes a day, and it allows you, you can sitting, standing, walking, or just laying down. Now, Sherry, have you ever meditated before?
Yes, I have. I started it when I started doing yoga a few years ago.
Okay. And how did it work out?
Great. I love it.
Okay.
It really kept me stay calm during stressful times.
And that's what it's all about. When people believe meditation, it is just staying still and trying to focus on something other than all your problems you have, your distraction. Now, when we talk about an informal practice, how we approach everyday life. We focus our attention on the situation we are currently involved in, and we just stay aware. By being more aware, we become more receptive and able to form at a higher level than being reactive. When we are reacting, the situations we find ourselves in, we're not open to those many responsibilities. We find ourselves judging, blaming, criticizing decisions that we've made. You know,
Hmm.
let me give you a perfect example. Perfect example is that, Sherry, you're planning a holiday party
Hmm.
and you expect 10 people to show up, but 12 show up. How do you feel?
Stressed out because I'd be starting to worry, do I have enough food for everybody? Do I have enough chairs? Basically I'd react and I'd be stressed.
Yes. And you said the right word. You're reactive. We're reacting. And that's what happens, what causes stress. We react more so than we receive. Being receptive means you're paying attention and you're aware of all the options available as opposed to reacting. Reacting is what we don't want to do, and we do it. Let me do a quick experiment. Share. I want you to hold your hands out like this here, real tight. Just hold them out as tight as you can,
Okay,
real tight. And
I
everybody
am.
else around, just hold it tight. And you feel that. That's how we go most of the day. We feel that way. That tightness is there. That's because
Hmm.
we react to everything as opposed to staying calm and making
Hmm.
decisions more receptively.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that if you don't react so quickly and just realize there's a way to solve the problem and stay calm, you're just going to deal with the situation better and not get so thrown off course and feel so just overwhelmed.
You have more options.
Exactly, exactly. And deal with it better and enjoy the situation better and just say, well, we'll make it work with two more people. Absolutely. And now, Kevin, we're going to be on the next slide that we're putting up here. We're highlighting pain during the holidays. You know, a lot of people are going through different types of pain. And, you know, so can you talk about that a little bit? You know, going through pain during the holidays and how can people manage that?
When we talk about pain during the holidays, we talk about pain, okay? We're talking about three types of pain: physical pain, emotional pain, relational pain. This is what we feel a lot on the holidays, and it stops us from moving things forward. And the reason why, and the thing that all three have in common, is that they create unnecessary suffering for all of us.
Yes, I mean, basically, it's the most stressful time of year for many people.
Yeah. Now, let's start with physical pain itself. When we talk about physical pain, when we're addressing physical pain, the key is understanding that pain is real. The pain is a real thing we feel, but when we add suffering to the pain, that part is optional. Suffering is optional. We have a choice when it comes to suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if we're experiencing pain, it's very difficult to not only enjoy the holidays, but to enjoy life.
Yeah, exactly. So with mindfulness, you can become aware of the pain, and what it is by acknowledging pain is a part of life. And we can't escape from it. Let me give you an example. You're putting your Christmas tree together. You want to put your Christmas decorations on, but you find out you have arthritis in your hand, or you have shoulder pain, and the pain is great. Now, what happens is when that pain comes about, there's three ways most of the time we deal with pain. We hate the pain, meaning that we just yell and scream. So we bring attention to the pain, which creates more pain. Okay. We are scared of the pain, that we're going to miss vacation time, we're going to miss holiday time, we're going to miss all the fun, everything, because the pain is too great. So we're scared of it, we back away from it, which gives more attention to the pain. Or we blame ourselves. We can't believe how stupid we are, how dumb we are, how unsatisfied we are. So what we do, we bring attention to the pain. This is what we do, is we add suffering on top of the pain. You know, see, now we have a choice. Instead of worrying and creating stories about how decorating a tree can cause the pain and worsen the pain, and we start worrying about it and start catastrophizing about these, we can use mindfulness techniques and be present with it by understanding our minds, and learn that we don't have to create the extra suffering by noticing the pain and being aware that we add suffer to the pain ourselves can lessen the pain.
So we're actually making the situation worse by focusing on it too much.
Exactly. Instead of just understanding that pain is pain. That's what it is. And to know how it feels. That when you do get upset by it, when you do bring stories to it, your shoulders tense up. You feel more of the pain than you did, as opposed to just using mindfulness techniques to understand it, how to deal with it.
To help manage it and deal with it.
Again, pain is real. You can't do anything about the pain, but have pain, kill yourself stuff. But it's the emotional baggage we bring on it, which is the suffering, that makes the problem even tougher. Because again, we have a choice when it comes to suffering.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which goes to the next thing, we talk about emotional pain. Okay? When we talk about emotional pain, all of our experience that we have, all of them are either pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant. The pleasant experience we want more of. The neutral ignored, but the unpleasant experiences, which not only brings about emotional pain, but it creates a lot of problems in our life.
And learning to deal with difficult emotions, Kevin, that's a key to dealing with emotional pain at any time, not just during the holidays.
Exactly. Remember, the reason why we have this emotional pain is that the brain is designed to do one thing, is to keep us safe. Okay, and negative emotions are a warning bell out there to protect ourselves, and we need to protect ourselves. So what mindfulness does is studies the mind, brings awareness that allows us to manage our emotions. Instead of reacting based on difficult emotions, we take a moment to pause and reflect on what we are feeling, why we feel that way, and what do we need to do to proceed.
Okay, fantastic. Great.
Okay. So now the next one we got is something called relational pain. Relational pain. This is a pain that we all go through, when we deal with family members or someone we really involve in a really good relationship, and they cause something. They do something that causes a lot of pain for us. Now,
Mhm.
a perfect example is like when somebody hangs up the phone on you and you go, bam. So what's that? Well, again, how do you feel when somebody hangs that phone up on you?
Upset. I'd be
Yes,
upset. Hmm.
yes,
Very
yes.
upset. Hmm.
Yeah,
Angry.
yeah,
Angry. Hmm.
that's exactly what it is.
Hmm.
Anger is that first emotion that usually shows up in a relational pain. In relationship pain, anger shows up, and we usually use anger as a default mechanism to protect ourselves. It's our way. Anger gives us a sense of righteousness. It becomes a legitimate feeling that we are annoyed and allow us to immediately take action. We feel more comfortable with pain than any other emotion, difficult, bad emotion, good emotion. We love anger. It does makes a difference in our lives, right?
Wow.
Not you, of course, right?
Hmm. Exactly.
As you work through your relational pain, the biggest problem is our thoughts. Our thoughts are the issue. Thoughts are difficult because they're just passing through our mind. There's no need to notice them, but what we do, we notice them. And as we notice them, emotions pop up and stories progress. These thoughts are often not wanted. They tell us we're not good enough. It makes us afraid, it makes us anxious. And when the mind upsets us about these thoughts, it creates, again, that unnecessary suffering.
Hmm.
To make
Yeah.
matters worse, what
People have
we do,
a.
yes,
Mhm.
what we
I
do
was
is
just.
that the thoughts that we have, we create unnecessary suffering with the thoughts. Mhm. We're capable of adding these stories to our thoughts that creates more suffering to the thoughts than we're currently having.
Hmm. What comes to mind, Kevin, is I was just thinking, and sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, your unconscious thoughts. A lot of people have a trail of unconscious thoughts that are going that actually add anxiety and stress. And I think managing those, like you said, can help keep you calm and help you not feel overwhelmed, with anger, controlling the anger, keeping it, in a.
And a perfect example of that, Sherry, would be if you think about if you're at Grand Central Station or Union Station, and there's trains keep coming and coming, and what we do is decide that we get on the first train that goes. So instead of going to downtown LA, we end up in Pomona. Okay, if we wait till our train comes by, just let all those thoughts go by and get on that one, then we realize that all of a sudden we are more in control of our thoughts and our emotions than any other time. So it's
Mhm.
possible right now to use mindfulness techniques to manage these thoughts, to eliminate the suffering, because that is the key. First, you have to realize that our mind creates these thoughts. That's what it does. Through mindfulness, you are aware of these thoughts, and you have a choice not to get lost. It's like I said, there's a train station. You don't have to get on every single train. Let the train go. Don't go up in the thoughts. Remember, just because it's a thought doesn't mean it's true. Okay?
Mhm.
And again, what you should do is to take, a 5-minute meditation. While meditating, you know how you feel. Are you anxious? Are you afraid? Does your body tense up? By noticing it's a thought, it can lose its power. And labeling it as a thought loses power. And over time, these thoughts lessen and lessen, and eventually just come just background noise, like the train that's coming through. It continuously comes through.
Mhm. So it's basically learning how to manage your thoughts and manage your mind and not let it get out of control with negative emotions.
Exactly. Now,
Mhm.
one of the key tools, a mindfulness tool that we use to help you control, to help you better prepare to take care of your emotions, is something called STOP, which is STOP. Okay. And what STOP is, S is to just stop what you're doing. If you have that dinner party, there's 12 people there. What are you going to do about it? Well, instead of reacting, first thing you're going to do is stop. Then you're going
Mhm.
to take a breath, observe what's going on out there, observe how it's going in your body. Are your shoulders up, are your hands sweating, your palm, your heart racing? You're going to calm down. And once you do that, you're able to proceed. So please proceed. Once you do these things, you can proceed. By doing this, you take a pause. It allows you to gather your thoughts and make a better decision.
Mhm.
See, this exercise is the best tool right now to overcome most of your pain, your emotional pain, and
Uh-huh.
relational pain also.
Hmm. Yeah, and like you're talking about earlier, negative emotions like fear, they're a major problem during the holidays. It could be the fear of failure of not throwing the perfect holiday party, getting the perfect gift, forgetting to send a Christmas card to somebody, that kind of a fear. It's all that fear of the unknown, which creates a lot of anxiety within us.
Exactly. You know, and really, the question is, what are we truly are afraid of? And that's the most important part. What are we afraid of? Um, what we really are afraid of is being embarrassed or humiliated, you know, and it brings about guilt and shame in our lives. These are really stops us from being engaged during a holiday. You know, it is about that embarrassment.
Absolutely. I remember a couple of years ago, a neighbor bought me a really nice gift for Christmas, and I hadn't bought her a gift. So I
Mhm.
was kind of embarrassed. That's a situation where I was embarrassed. And I thought, uh-oh,
And,
I had,
and that's what happens. That is the most important thing that happens. A lot of the stuff that we experience on the holidays is and to be fully engaged during the holiday season and really enjoying each other.
hmm absolutely. And yeah, I know that the way I really just try to stay calm and get organized in advance. And that helps me, try to enjoy it more and not stress out and try to enjoy the shopping experience, even if there are long lines and it's crowded, etc. I've developed techniques on how to get through it without feeling overwhelmed or not having any joy or happiness during it.
And again, that's what our next section we're going to talk about is cultivating these positive emotions so that we are more comfortable with negative emotions such as anger, sadness, anxiety than these positive ones. Positive emotions such as joy, generosity, and compassion are qualities that we all have, but it, by practicing being happy or compassionate or generous is like planting a seed that will eventually be a flower. As you practice it over time, your capacity for it grows, thereby helping you have an enjoyable holiday. These are wonderful qualities to develop and very important for being with family and friends over the holiday. It is based on our sense of connection with others. They help us, again, when you use these things, okay, like joy, generosity, um, compassion, okay, it helps us dissolve these negative feelings like anger, jealousy, and fear. Research also shows that increases people's level of happiness as well as it creates more optimism.
hmm And you mentioned joy, Kevin. What would you like to share with people about joy, how to bring more joy back into their holidays?
Okay. All right. So let's talk. Okay. We start with joy. It's the holiday season. We should be experiencing the joy and happiness of one another, right?
hmm
Right. I'll give you a perfect example. Okay. So your husband just bought you a new 75-inch ultra high definition TV, right? And you're the
hmm
happiest person. You're happy, right?
hmm
Now,
Yes.
me, as a guy who loves 75 inches and wish my wife would buy me one, okay, I should
hmm
be happy for you, right?
hmm
But what's the problem? What happens to me?
Most likely you're a little bit jealous.
Yes, yes.
hmm
So
hmm
when we talk about joy, when we talk about experiencing each other's joy during holiday season, one thing always gets in the way, and that's jealousy. So instead
hmm
of really experiencing joy, we feel it's this twinge of jealousy. It's an automatic response. You want to be happy for someone, but something inside you create that feeling of jealousy or envy, and that is a problem.
hmm Absolutely.
And if they are really someone we care about, their jealousy impacts our happiness. Because now, guess what? How you feel if I'm jealous of you? You feel,
I feel bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like a domino effect, kind of.
yeah. So their unhappiness has now become your problem.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
I
now you
regret
start
telling
to
you
feel,
about the TV that I got. I
yes,
regret telling you. Yeah.
exactly. So now all of a sudden you have regrets and everything like that. See, the toughest and the most difficult is that you sometimes we feel shame, you know, that you got this thing, you can't have it, so you feel like you may not deserve it, you shouldn't have got it. And then what you do is that you stop telling people about it. You don't even mention it anymore, right?
Right. Yeah. That's probably what I would do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the key to understanding what's stopping you, the key is really understanding what's stopping you from experiencing other people's joys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can do what I do, okay? Is that, and again, we all get jealous. And jealousy really is a sign for something. That means something in your life is missing. If you meet somebody and they're happy, and you get jealous, there's something missing in your life. You need to examine that. But one thing you can do is, and it's just gotta fake it until it becomes real. That's it. Instead of being jealous, fake it too, and just say something like, "I'm happy for you." So I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you with a big smile on your face.
Exactly. Not like I'm happy for you. Don't no. It's like,
I'm really happy for you.
yes, and that's one of the key things, because if you say you're happy for someone with a smile on their face, your brain tells you you are actually happy and not jealous.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're tricking yourself into being happy or convincing yourself that you are happy.
So let's tackle the next one, generosity. The holiday season, being generous, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's stopping you from being generous there, Sherry? What's stopping you? What's that one thing
Well,
stopping
I always set a budget. Not that I ever stick to the budget, but I always set a budget. Typically,
Okay.
I go over it though.
That's really important, because really the main reason, the number one reason that we believe generosity is difficult is that we believe in the concept of scarcity. What that means that we don't have enough to give. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough resources. So as a result, we stop. We don't be generous. So what you got to do is look at generosity as there is abundance, not scarcity, for whatever you have to offer. Is it your time? Okay. Once we start believing that our time constricts us from doing anything, we don't give our time. If we think money is a problem, we don't give money. If we think just anything, it creates a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another problem which stops generosity from the holidays is that we attach outcome to the meaning. And when we give, we expect certain results, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You
Like,
understand that, don't you?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like if we give a homeless person money, if you're thinking in the back of your mind, I hope they spend this on food. They're
Mhm.
not spending it on alcohol or something else. So we're basically expecting that person to spend the money the way we want them to spend it.
Exactly. That is, when we attach generosity to the outcome, that's not generosity. Now, one final note on generosity that creates a problem for us sometimes is that we believe that we're obligated to be generous. And that's the problem too. And this happens a lot with family and friends. We feel that we must help someone with our time or money because it's our responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that stops us from really being generous. The main one is scarcity, but we have other ones also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about compassion. Okay. Compassion is the third one. Okay. Um, the holiday time, right? And holiday time really is not complete unless we volunteer our time to really help people, who are struggling in life. Because when we talk about compassion, compassion is simply desire to ease someone's suffering. That's what compassion is.
Mm-hmm.
We all believe we have compassion for one another, especially during the holidays, or a family or friend. Now, what I want you to do right now, Sherry, is kind of, and I want everybody right now who's listening to kind of close their eyes for a second and just kind of bring someone to mind who you recently helped. It could have been a friend or a family, but you were there for them. Okay. It could be something as simple as listening. Somebody there, you gave them a few dollars, but somebody there did you truly help. Now, open your eyes up, Sherry, and open your eyes up. Now, how did that make you feel?
Great. Very good.
Again, that's compassion. Now, the problem is compassion is very, very difficult for us because there's situations where there's too much suffering exists. And too much suffering exists, or the challenge is too great. What we do is that stop being compassionate, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it can be overwhelming, Kevin.
Yes, that's what it is. And that's what stops us from really being compassionate. It becomes overwhelming. And what we do, we detach ourselves from it. We get caught up in the grief of it, or we simply just stop doing it altogether. A lot of times you see things on the TV that people need compassion, but we really just kind of just turn off of it. We just walk away from it because it's too much for us. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes we feel pity, especially for people we care about. You know,
Hmm.
and all those things, they are not compassion. The compassion, that feeling you had just a few minutes ago.
Hmm.
Okay, there are times when you should feel compassion, but you don't. You know, like a situation when one family member blames another for their inability to take personal responsibility, right? We all have family members like that, don't we?
Hmm.
When this happens, you question yourself, what is it that I don't understand? Okay? This
Hmm.
lack of understanding always stops you from showing compassion.
Hmm.
Make sense to you?
It does. If you don't understand what's going on with that person and you're kind of blaming them in your mind, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Is that I criticize my sister a lot because she has to take care of my parents. You know, they're 90 years old, and I get upset. I blame, criticize her, but then I fail to realize that she had her own issues, and at this point in time, are not able to handle and work with them. So that lack of understanding helped stop me from being compassionate.
Hmm.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
compassion is a joyous feeling, okay, that we want, that we like, that we enjoy. The key is to understand that that feeling is joyous, and if it's uncomfortable or painful, it's not compassion.
Hmm. You put yourself in her shoes and you're able to feel more compassion.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so we're going to wrap it up by talking about something called it's something that balances it all out, something that balances it together called equanimity.
Okay.
Okay, because really to truly enjoy the holiday, okay, and to be balanced and willing to accept things as they are, you need something called equanimity. Equanimity is a state of balance, even mindedness, steady and calm, in spite of all the uncertainty we live in. It's understanding that things are as they are. It's a willingness to be with the present moment, rather it's good or bad.
Hmm. Yeah, we just had some recent flooding in Austin, Kevin, which was very stressful. So by watching the news and with everything going on, people were freaking out, and but I'm in an area that doesn't flood that often, so I stayed calm and I thought it's probably not going to happen here. We should be okay.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what equanimity does. It allows you to achieve this emotional stability where you maintain control, not only of unpleasant situations, but also as enjoyable ones. It also allows you to explore all the other options, reaching a more informed conclusion with limited emotional involvement. It allows you to return to a more stable sense quicker when after a difficult situation arises. It's about recognizing the truth of the reality because most of the time we live in this resistance to reality. We want things to be different. We want life to be fair without challenges or a difficult situation that's not real. Equanimity takes practice. By practicing it, you remind yourself that this too shall pass.
Hmm.
As you practice it over time, your capacity for it grows and grows and grows.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, so
And
let's kind of wrap it up.
how can
Let's
we
wrap
use how can we use these tips to enjoy the holidays, Kevin?
Sure. Okay. Couple things we can do. I got like really, really couple of quick, easy things to do. Number one, 5 minutes of silence. As always, you want to be less reactive to stressful situations. So set aside 5 minutes a day to be more receptive situations and not reactive. Recognize stress triggers with openness and curiosity. By being proactive, by eliminating stressful situations that occur, you can be open and curious. Use compassion whenever possible. Compassion is the ability to really to support someone without judgment and tied to any results at all. Okay, accept things as they are, and above all, this is the holiday season. Be kind to yourself. Be generous to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. These are things we don't do. If we treated our friends the way we treat ourselves, we would not have any friends.
That's true. That's really, really
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Mhm.
So with that, I think that's enough for the day on stress for the holidays. I hope everybody has a great holiday. I look forward to next year when we start a whole new batch of webinars. Um, thanks. That was
Yes.
good.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. Thank you for all those great tips. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I did want to mention that we record all of our webinars and I put them on our website. So if you'd like to listen to today's session again, just visit our website, which is kdisonline.com. And you can listen to today's webinar and all of our past webinars as well. And then next year in January, I can't believe it's going to be 2019 already, we're going to be covering back to basics on D&O liability for community associations. So thanks, everybody, and happy holidays. Have a great afternoon.